Good morning to you out there, and welcome to this very session with me. My name is Akinsami Emmanuel, and I'm a trained and certified chaplain from the College of Chaplains, the International Christian Chaplains Association, 1494 Fall River Avenue, Seekonkin, Massachusetts. That's the headquarters of ICCA, and meanwhile, I represent ICCA here in Africa. Good morning to you if it's morning, and good afternoon out there if it's afternoon. Today I have just done my own little workout. I've been on that for a few days now, explaining to you my own experiences regarding medication, confession of the word, and physical exercises. Medication, confession of the word, and physical or bodily exercises. The advantages. There are some things that people teach or they talk about from books, what they've read. They are quite different from the things that you experience, and that's why once in a while we always let people know, especially as preachers and those of us who are over 60, I always encourage that we tell people the exact things that we felt along our journeys down here. If you look at the body of man is actually made up of so many pipes. If I use the general language, pipes, arteries, veins, capillaries, and all of that. That's what makes up the fluid carriers. They are the passages through which the fluid passes through your body to the various places. Now, if you discover that you are having discomfort in your legs, for example, muscles, like I said yesterday, if you have problem with muscles, you're half dead, because a time will come you will just be weak, you can't walk again, you can't do anything again, and then they will be ready to admit you in the hospital. So one of the things I'm attempting to achieve is using my own experiences to explain to people that you don't have to suffer what your parents or your predecessors suffered when it comes to their physical, mental, and their spiritual health. Now, many persons have slumped on the pulpit. Talk about pastors, managers, and directors have also slumped on their seats or while delivering lecture, whatever, as a result of not paying closer attention to the language, the voice of the body. Now, we say the voice of the spirit is your conscience, and then of course the voice of the body is the senses, the physical senses. That's the voice. And if you don't listen to them, for example, one of the voices of the body is smell. If you find yourself in an environment where there is acid or there is toxicity and you can't smell it, you inhaled it, you might be dead. I remember when I failed my first, the first WAEC I did, thanks to late Mrs. Fakurede, who said you got to come back to school. And I was in the laboratory. She gave me the opportunity of wearing white, uniform instead of the school uniform. And I was always sitting down in the lab since I was going to retake the exams. And one of the days in the class, in the lab, they were having chemistry practicals, volumetric analysis to be precise. And they were to do, the acid and base mixture to be able to get the resultant result. One of the boys then, I can't forget his name, Isiaka is the name, he mixed, instead of putting the acid in the beaker, he put the acid in the conical flask, and the pipette was with me. So the teacher told me, Ima, go put them through, since you know what to do. And as I was going there, I picked the pipette immediately, and then I assumed he knew the contents that should be in each of the containers. So I picked the pipette and I put straight into the into the conical flask. I immediately pipetted, the meals we needed, and by the time it got to my mouth, before I knew, it was already in my mouth because of the volatility. Now, If it was base, it would be slippery. I would just simply pour it away and all of that. But this was acid, concentrated HCl. So I was having my mouth burning. And what was the cause? I didn't smell. I did not make use of my senses, because you cannot, if you are in the lab, your senses must be alert. You must be able to use it. So I opened my mouth, and then the acid found its way down. Before I knew, my tongue came out with it, and everybody started shouting and all of that. Thanks to the love of the teachers that I had, because they actually loved me. They all ran down. The chemistry teacher and all biology teacher, all of them came, picked me straight to Nigerian Navy Hospital, and that was where I was administered to. What they did, they just simply picked egg. The doctor just picked one egg, raw egg, and opened it and poured it in my mouth and said I should hold it together. And that was it. For I think 1 hour or so, I sat down there with the stuff in my mouth, and when it was over, the burning sensation was over, my tongue returned to normal. This same tongue I'm using now. So why am I bringing all that in? The danger and the suffering I suffered was because I did not smell it. So today, the human body is such that it yields its response to the kind of treatment you give to it. So whatever you are eating today, don't forget that it will have effect, positive or negative. You would know it. So I want to say that we have come a long way. If you're approaching 50 or even above 50, it's important to tell yourself the truth that you cannot be eating what you used to eat before. Even in terms of digestive system, it's not going to be the same thing. There are some things today now. I stopped eating, lots of bread. I used to be very good at bread. I used to be, very good at it. And then minerals, soft drinks. But I had to stop them, because even now when I try taking them, my body reacts differently. Okay, if I take Coke today, my throat, my chest, I'll feel uncomfortable because I've stopped it for a long time. Now, the same thing with bread now I'm noticing, except if I have no choice. These days, I hardly go for it. So I want to say to you today that your body is the temple of God, yes, but you are the one that will make it to respond the way you want it to respond. I was able to do some exercises this morning because I'm adjusting my system. I want to plead with you that those of you who are sickly right now, even in the hospital, the healing begins with your mind. That's why I'm going today. Your healing begins from your mind. If you go to the doctor and they tell you, the doctor says, oh, your blood pressure is 120/80. Oh, your pulse is 67 or 60 plus. Oh, yes, you feel great. Is that not so? Now, that alone gives you, or maybe they now say, okay, what about your cholesterol? You say, oh, it's between 3.5 and 5.0. Those, I'm talking about the ranges now. What about your sugar level? You say, oh, if it's fasting blood sugar, well, you are between that, maybe 3.5, 4.5, and 6, and all of that, you're still fine. Now, but all of these figures they are given to you, when you hear them and they give you the figures and they tell you these are the ranges, and you are the borderline, or you are not there, or you are below, or you are just like that, average, or you are higher. The report you get from the doctor alone gives you, number one, what they call psychological relief. Like when I go and they say, oh, your BP is fine, sir, everything is good, you're okay. Now I leave that place healthy, stronger. My mind is healed, because they have told me something, my ears have heard it. So I go out of the doctor's office bouncing that, yeah, man, I'm good. Now, there are sometimes you go to the hospital, you were even stronger than you are coming out. By the time you are coming out, the news you heard, the report they gave to you is enough to make you, almost dead. I remember there was time I went to, hospital, and I had to stay there from morning. I was going there in the morning with every agility and strength. And I found out that by the time I was leaving the hospital, I was looking sickly. I was feeling sickly. I was acting sickly. And I told myself, what was the cause of this? Now, one of the things that I do is that I observe my body. I listen to myself. I listen to what my body is saying now than before. So in case you're the type that you don't give a damn, you say it doesn't matter, you don't listen to your body, it will break down and you will be admitted. So today, pay attention to the voice of your body. Not just that you are not a Christian, that you're not hearing the voice of the Spirit, but pay attention. When your muscles are, aching, pay attention. When your head is aching, pay attention. And these little things you do will contribute to your general well-being. I hope that someone would take this today seriously and don't think that everything is attack, and you start, you can imagine somebody taking drugs like this, pour it on his hand, and that's how it takes it in. And all of these drugs, finally, I found out that sometimes we are busy treating the side effects of drugs than even the ailment itself. So whenever you go to hospital, ask the doctor, what is this one and what does it do and what are the possible side effects. Some years back, I had to ask a doctor. They would just give you the medicine without the name on it and all of that. I asked, they said, don't worry. I said, no, I worry. I had to call the nurse, give me the names. They didn't tell me until I forced them to tell me. And under even the medical law in Nigeria, you have right to know what they are giving to you. So I collected it and I went to the internet. I Googled it and I found 11 side effects that was affecting my son. And I discontinued them. And till today, thanks be to God, it's not there again. It happened to me also recently. And I Googled it. The 4 medicines that I got, I found out that some of the effects were very, very bad. I was getting weaker and weaker instead of getting stronger. I sent my findings to the doctor and I said, this is what I saw. And the doctor said, so which of them have you discontinued? Of course, I had to act very quickly because I was literally going down. I'm talking about just last week here. So there are things that you better begin to be informed about, and don't allow anyone to feed on your ignorance. Is that okay? Don't keep quiet when it comes to medicine. A little just one small fluid can cost you your life. So try as much as possible to ask questions. One of the beautiful things I like about chaplaincy is that they taught us something about the diagnostic tools of a chaplain. One of them is observation, the other one is listening, and the third one is questioning. So remember, learn to observe, learn to listen, and learn to ask intelligent questions. May God bless you today and keep you. Do not die before your time. Take note, you are responsible for whatever is happening to you. 70% of whatever you experience is you, not this nobody cares for me, nobody answers for me. Leave all of those things. The older you get, the more you should be able to have a grip of your life. God be with you and enjoy the rest of the day. 003-589-2801 is the number if you want to get anything from the Chaplaincy College of Health. We run the Chaplaincy College of Health, a health institution approved by the government and the Board of Public Health. You can apply for the September admission for any of your children or yourself, so you can learn all of these things: the spirit, the soul, and the body. May God be with you in Jesus' name. Shalom.